Good morning. Please join us in singing our opening hymn, From This Bright Hour. From this bright hour and days to come, as we have gathered into one, open the gates and the light will shine all around. Let there be light. Wounds of the world begin to heal as peace with justice is made real. Open the gates and the light will shine all around. Let there be light. All are welcome, all invited, with open hearts and open minds. In our living, in our learning, may we always be searching for truth and light. Now is the hour, join in the song, here in this place where we belong. Open the gates and the light will shine all around. Let there be light.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to family worship at First Unitarian Church in Portland, where our mission is to nurture the individual spirit and together to build towards the beloved community. I'm so glad you're with us on this Sunday morning. I want to begin with a couple special announcements. Parents and caregivers in the learning community are invited to meet with the Ministerial Search Committee today at 12:30 to share your ideas, hopes, and interests for a new senior minister. You can check your learning community email for the Zoom link. That begins at 12:30. Also at 12:30 today, Reverend Bill will do his quarterly Q&A, question and answer period. He'll talk about plans for reopening the church soon, as well as answer any questions that you have. That too is at 12:30, and you can find the link at the end of the sanctuary service this morning. Today we're beginning what we call our season of giving here at the church, when we are asked to make our financial gifts and our promises of financial support to First Unitarian. We welcome generosity at any time, of course, but for a few weeks in the fall, we focus our attention on support for this church and set goals that will allow this congregation to live out its mission in our own lives and in the world. Our theme this year is Meeting the New Day. This is a new day in so many ways. Soon we will begin the process of regathering in person for worship in our sanctuary, and already our older vaccinated youth are beginning to regather. This new day will not be just a return to the church and the learning community that we left 18 months ago, or the downtown that we left then. Some changes will be obvious. Others are not so clear. But we have all been changed in some ways, and this church has a role to play as we ground ourselves to move forward. For the next few Sundays, you will be hearing about our challenges and the opportunities of this time. The church is asking for your commitment and for your support. Each member and member family will receive a personalized packet of information in the mail starting tomorrow. It includes not only financial information about the church and about your past financial contributions, but also describes the challenges we face and those opportunities before us. Some of us will be asked to increase our giving this year, but not all of us, especially those who were able to take big steps up last year. We celebrate the economic diversity of economic circumstances within this community, but all of us together empower this community to thrive. And here's some good news. Many of us make what we call sustainer pledges that don't need to be renewed every year. An amount that you choose and that you can change at any time is deducted from a bank account or a debit card each month. These gifts make the income to the church more predictable, and that is a blessing. The bottom line here is whether you make a sustainer pledge or give what you can every week, the bottom line is to remember what this community means in our lives, in your life, and what we can accomplish together. The work of building toward beloved community asks all of us to make the contributions that we can. So to kick off this season of giving, Congregant Sue Palmeter will offer our testimony this morning.
What would you say to a little girl in 30 years who asks, was it true that we stood on the brink of climate catastrophe? What kept you going? Why did you persist? That was the question posed by Catherine Jesch to the Community for Earth members at a recent retreat. And in an instant, I saw that little girl clearly. She looked a lot like me at age 7. In a moment of deep clarity, I knew my answer. As tears rolled down my cheeks, I told her, I did it for you. In the past couple of years, I've become deeply involved in climate activism at 350 PDX, a local climate justice organization, and more recently, leading the Divest Oregon campaign to pressure the Oregon State Treasurer to stop investing in climate-wrecking fossil fuels and reinvesting in a fossil-free future. I have made a long-term commitment to this work, but I'm not sure I could have made it without this church community. The spiritual underpinning and grounding that I find here is what keeps me tightly tethered to First Unitarian. From my Wellspring group, my fellow lay ministers, and the Community for Earth, I am surrounded by folks who have a calling to find a way when there sometimes seems to be no way. Through their words and deeds, I draw great strength and am supported in doing the work in right relationship, especially as we endeavor to end white supremacy culture as part of the 8th principle. And so that brings me to why I am happy to contribute my time and gifts to First Unitarian and invite you to do the same. To do this forever work, as fellow Community for Earth member Emily Herbert calls it, I need a spiritual home that grounds me, helps me to center, and connects me with so many inspirational folks. I leave you with a quote from Rebecca Solnit that I've recently found that rings true for me and reminds me of why First Unitarian is so important. To hope is to give yourself to the future, and that commitment to the future is what makes the present inhabitable. I hope that you find your place here as well, that you find your way towards the future, and that you see the great value this church provides in your own life and in our community. Thank you.
The Buell-Smith family will light our chalice from home this morning, while I light our chalice here in the chapel.
We are Unitarian Universalists. We light this chalice in faith, in hope, and in love.
Our call to worship this morning is by Jonathan Potter, entitled Every Child's Place. Above the trees, the sky is bright, the sunny day, the starry night. Around the world, the children play. Their minds are bright both night and day. Sometimes we dream, sometimes we sing. We each have gifts that we can bring. our hearts fill up with love and peace. Breathe in, breathe out, let love increase. This place is ours, our roots grow deep, our arms reach out to give and keep. Sometimes we bend, sometimes we fall, but helping hands help us stand tall. And we, in turn, will help our friends. The circle turns. It never ends. Come now and let us worship. Today, I'd like to share a story with you entitled, I Love You When You're Angry. It's written by Aaron Winters and illustrated by Caitlin Boucher. Now, as I share this story, see if you have ever felt some of the emotions that the animals in the story feel. See which ones maybe you identify with. I love you when you're angry. I love you when you're sad. I love you when we both have days that try to drive us mad. I love you in your funny. I love you in your gloom. I love you when you stamp and pout and hide inside your room. I love your all excited. I love your nonchalant. I love you when you don't have words to ask for what you want. I love you when you're tired. I love you when you're cross. I love you to the moon and back when we're both at a loss. I love your all or nothing. I love your in between. I love that every mood you're in, you're still my little bean. I love our time together. I love your time alone. I love you when you're small just as much as when you're grown. I love you and your antics. I love you when you cry. I love you when you hear me make that heaving, heavy sigh. I love you when you listen, and I love you when you don't. I love you when I ask you to, and you say, no, you won't. I love you now and always. I love you deep inside. I love that when I see your face, my heart still swells with pride. I love you all the time, and here's the bottom line. No matter what hard days we have, I love that you are mine. I love that good days end the same as tough days do at night. I love to cuddle close and say, I love you. Now sleep tight. That's our story for this morning. Thanks for sharing this time with me.
all the dirty laundry, never made me blink one time. Unconditionally, I will love you unconditionally. There is no fear now. Let go and just be free. I will love you unconditionally. Come just as you are to me. Don't need apologies. Know that you are worthy. I'll take your bad days with your good. Walk through the storm, I would. I do it all because I love you. I love you unconditionally. I will love you unconditionally. There is no fear now. Let go and just be free. I will love you unconditionally. So open up your heart and just let it begin. Open up your heart and just let it begin. Open up your heart and just let it begin. Open up your heart. Acceptance is the key to be truly free. Will you do the same for me? Unconditionally, I will love you unconditionally. There is no fear now. Let go and just be free. I will love you unconditionally. So open up your heart and just let it begin. Open up your heart and just let it begin. Open up your heart and just let it begin. Open up your heart. Open up your heart and just let it begin. Open up your heart and just let it begin. Open up your heart and just let it begin. Open up your heart.
I love you when you're angry. I love you when you're sad. These words from the book Reverend Tom read are important to remember. We are loved and lovable even when we're having strong feelings, and even when those who love us are feeling grumpy themselves. Every person has a range of feelings their whole lives long. Sometimes sad, sometimes excited or scared, sometimes mad, or maybe super happy. But it can be hard to know what we feel and why, especially when we're in the middle of strong feelings. Learning how to notice our feelings, being able to name them, and think about why we're feeling that way helps us to have compassion or love for ourselves and for others. In the book, we saw pictures of animals expressing emotions in a human-like way. While we know that animals don't express themselves the same way as human people, the pictures are a good way to show a range of feelings that people can have. Are you feeling any of these ways now? Happy, sad, proud, or worried? Sometimes it helps to take a deep breath or two to notice how you're feeling, so let's do that together. invite you to close your eyes and maybe place a hand on your chest or on your belly. And we'll just take a couple of breaths, see what you're feeling. From the book, I like this picture of the young and older bears because when I try to wear the same expressions they have, I can feel it in my own body, what they might be feeling. That's called mirroring, and it's a good way to learn empathy or how we understand what someone else might be feeling. This little bear, what does that bear's body face and tell you they're feeling? Have you ever felt like this young bear? And what about the adult bear? What do you think they are feeling? Feelings are natural and everyone has them. And we are each loved even when we are mad and even when we forget. It's also true that we can have hard feelings and love someone all the while, like the way this fox parent shows. I love you when I'm tired. I love you when I'm cross. I love you to the moon and back when we're both at a loss. Is there anyone you know who is going through a hard time that you'd like to send your love to? Let's take a few moments to think about someone who may need an extra dose of love today. We'll take a few moments of quiet for you to imagine them and send them your love. Thank you for being who you are, no matter how you're feeling.
As you go into this week, remember, rain or shine, good days or bad days, remember that you are always held in the arms of love, no matter what. This is the day we've been given. Let us rejoice in it and be glad. Go in peace. Practice love. Amen.
Please join us in singing our closing hymn, Go Now in Peace.